Okay, the structure faces west. So we're on the north side of the house. And there's this fence over here underneath the drip line, next to the cement, next to the brickwork, excuse me. Okay, that's conducive to wood-destroying insects by design. I can say that because I have that license. I'm a certified pest control applicator, termite category. Trees are touching the roof. That's also conducive. But this isn't a termite inspection. I wasn't paid for that. This is a courtesy. Okay, this right along the wall here, that's called parging. Well, parging coat's been crumbling off of it. That's called spalling. Okay, so the cement's been spalling away from here. These are weep holes. Those are good things. We want those. These lawn sprinkler heads, they shouldn't be any closer to a structure than 12 inches. So your lawn sprinkler heads, a lot of them are too close. We're coming on along here. Now, a couple things here. It's called a clue. That is the discharge for the water heater temperature pressure relief valve. And they're not supposed to terminate closer to the ground than 3 inches. So it should have been picked up a little bit, or the ground should have been lowered a little bit. Okay, we're coming across here. Okay, there we go. These screens could be in a lot better shape. These screens are showing signs of their wear. These windows are probably original to the structure. Coming along here. So those little rust stains right in there. Okay, that tells us, these little circulars, okay, that tells us this is a post-tension slab. There are different types of post-tension slabs. Some of them have piers, several different characteristics. All I know is that it's a post-tension slab, okay? These stones, these pavers right here, they're decorative. This is not a retaining wall. And if it were, it's further away from the structure than twice its height. So in theory, this should have no effect on the foundation. We're going up. I'm not going to walk on this roof, all right? Just don't have that much mountain goat in me. Looks to me like these rain gutters were not replaced with the roof covering. The roof covering looks like it's fairly recent. I don't really have a date on it, but the plumbing vent pipes, they've been painted, but not really. Not really. They haven't been painted that well. I got some granules in here. And if you look right behind it, right behind that guy, right in there. Yeah, there we go. And on the back side of him, okay, you can see that he's got a little indentation in there. That's called buckling. And water will set on that. We had good rain last night. The roof hasn't dried off. Roof hasn't dried off. Okay. And again, rain gutters, they last about 14 years. Roof coverings, they last about 14 years. So if you replace your roof covering without replacing the rain guttering, then you're going to have a leapfrog effect, and this rain gutter is not going to, assuming there's not a storm or something, but under normal conditions, whatever's normal in North Texas, but if these two were allowed to age out properly, you'd be replacing the rain gutter before the roof, and then the roof before the rain gutter. That leapfrog effect at this point. It'd been nice if it all got taken care of at the same time. Okay, I'm going to backtrack here a little bit. I have to yank people around. Okay, you see this rain gutter? See this roof vent? This soffit vent that's air intake into your attic? They're dirty. Can you look inside of that? Look inside of that. They're not breathing like they should. They can't. They're clogged. Alright? You see the way that one's torn? You see all these little roots? At one time, ivy was all over this, and when they yanked the ivy off of the wall, which they should have done, but it had grown inside that vent, and it had taken those louvers with it. This vent should be replaced, probably all of them. If all of them are that dirty, they all need to be replaced. You could take them off and clean them, I guess. How much time do you have? This is the overflow drain. This is the overflow drain for one of the air conditioning systems, and one on this side, I suppose. Alright, they put that over the window on purpose. They do that so that if that's draining, you know you have a problem, and you can call a technician. Then over here, we'll see this on the inside a little more. I don't know, I think I'm going to do an inside video. But this window's fogging. See those little marks right there? These are called muntins. They're faux muntins. But man, when you see those little marks and they grow and shrink like that when you push on the window, that's moisture. We're still on the north side of the house. This is where the gas enters the house. I can't find any bonding, electrical bonding for the gas. So it's probably going to be on the furnaces, which is better than nothing, I guess. All this bushes, all this debris. Again, you know, conducive to wood destroying insects. You shouldn't have bushes this close. Another thing about them is these bushes, when they're this close to the house, when you have them out, they actually reduce your utilities. But when they're growing into the house, because homeownership 101, all roofs leak, all walls leak. And they're designed to shed water faster than they accept it. But when you have all these bushes, what moisture does get inside the house, inside the walls, it doesn't evaporate, it doesn't aerate, it doesn't disappear as fast as it normally would. So it stays in there longer. Nothing happens overnight unless it's Katrina. But, you know, ongoing problems. We're missing a luminary right up there. Exterior luminary. See that? Okay. Missing one of those guys. Coming on out here. We're not going to see much. One of the things we're not going to see is for the lawn sprinkler system. I haven't found a check valve yet. This is the meter on the northwest side of the property. We had a lot of rain last night. The water's too murky, I can't see it. There's one from this house and one from the next door neighbor. And that's probably, I can't promise this, but they're probably digital meters, and they're a little hard for me to ascertain whether there's a leak or not. Back and get that. Alright. Mailbox is listing a little bit. That's beyond another thing that's beyond the scope of this inspection. The address is on that mailbox. It's on the other side. The address is on that mailbox. We do not have an address on the structure. Alright. Some municipalities are okay with the address being on the mailbox. I don't really go there. I trip sometimes. Okay. Come along here. Don't worry. I haven't lost a client yet. Oh, but I am going to go back around. This is a meter test for the house. And we got about 70 psi. About 70 psi. That's pretty good. It's supposed to be between 40 and 80. So if you're getting 70, that's just about, again, some people consider it ideal. We're almost through over here. I knew there was something I wanted to... Okay. This is where my tools go. I'll remember all that when I'm on my way home. See these window ledges? They have at least 2 degrees slope. Okay? Again, you know, shedding water. We're coming along over here. See this window ledge right here? He doesn't have 2 degrees. He's just about level. See all that mastic in there? Okay, water's been coming in here. Coming in from the northwest. That's where all the fronts come in, down from Seattle. They throw their weather at us. And it hits this window, and they've come in here and they put a bunch of pookie in here. This window ledge should have been removed. These bricks should have been removed, reset, repointed with a nice tilt on it like the other windows. Coming along, the ground's pretty much saturated. I'm slushing around out here. Moving on along. Right in here. Okay. This fascia, it should not be in direct contact with the roof covering. Capillary action will allow moisture to move. I wonder where I was going to find it. But I find it every time. Okay. Got the roof covering. You got a little, it's been painted, you got a little metal trim right there. It's flashing, edge flashing. In this case, it's a rake edge flashing. And you got the fascia. And the fascia below it. Right there, that little flashing right up in there. I don't know if you can get up there and see that. Alright, but it's not lapped 10 inches. Again, you probably never have a problem with that, but the manufacturer says that that flashing should be lapped a minimum of 10 inches. So that flashing wasn't properly lapped. Moving on along. Good looking guy come in. Oh, it's smooth. The doorbell doesn't work. Okay, this cornice. Alright. So that should protect the electric receptacle right there. But as close as it is, this is a judgment call. This is me. That should have a in-use cover is what they're called. They should have an in-use cover. Some people call them bubble covers. So that way when you plug in your Christmas lights, you can close the in-use cover, the bubble cover, and it's protected from water. Wood mulch underneath the drip edge. Again, we're not doing termite inspection today, but that's conducive to wood string insects. Trees shouldn't be closer than 25 feet. Okay, we've got a little bit of movement right over here. Right over this, what's the name of that light? It'll come to me, a senior moment. We've got a little bit of movement over here by this keystone. Right there. This transom light over the door. We got a little bit of movement right there. And we're moving along in here. And we're facing west. Saved by the bell. These are your main sewer cleanouts. I don't see a main water shutoff. I don't see a main water shutoff for the house. Those are main sewer cleanouts. And nothing that I don't see. Odessa, Texas. Good home, this is Bud. Oh, it's Brandy. She's a trip advisor on a recorded line. Alright, so these are your main cleanouts for the house. We do not have a main water shutoff valve that has become apparent yet. We're still looking. We haven't found the lawn sprinkler system check valve. But speaking of cleanouts, we also have not found a vacuum breaker for the swimming pool drain system. Okay, the grading and drainage here is all level. In fact, less than level, it looks like. So we got some negative drainage going down towards the front porch. Looks like we got some negative level to negative drainage across the front of the house. Okay, water should go away from the house. Away from the house. Missing the screen. That screen is worse for wear. This is one of those rain gutters that wasn't changed. Alright. See how that pitch in there? See how it's been leaking? Alright. Then we come over here and then that's a short run, I get it. But we should have some kick out flashing right there. Saw some other better examples in the back. One of my very first pass. This is my second pass around the house. So some of this stuff I'm going to get wrong. Some of this stuff I'm going to change my mind about maybe. Okay, but it looks like that rain gutter's been leaking. And then you see all those diamonds up there? Well, that's an indication, if it's normal, that's usually an indication that there's some age on that roof. Again, I was under the impression it was a newer roof. We'll ask more about that. Again, speaking of diamonds, water's just pooling here. It's just pooling here. Good mud pile for the grandkids. And mosquitoes. So, you know, we've got that. This is the vent. This is the vent for the downdraft kitchen vent. We got a little bit of movement in the semicircular, top part of the window right there. You got a little bit of a gap here. And this is a termite bait station. Okay, he's aged. It looks like he hasn't been serviced in forever. And yeah, I wouldn't expect him to do anything. In fact, the way those things work is they poison the ants that feed on them. And the ants use, the termites, same thing with ants. And the termites, they leave pheromone trails to the food. And so the other termites come to this bait and they eat it. So when this bait runs out, the pheromone trails remain in the ground. So when the termites come looking for that food that's not there, they're going to go to the next closest place. Huh. Okay. Again, level to negative drainage all through here. Basically level drainage, unless something's different around the other side, basically level drainage all the way around the structure. Coming along, wood mulch, water heater vent. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. There's 2 water heaters. You're only going to get video on this one, I believe. Again, when the house is occupied by a tenant buying, I don't typically do interior video. Okay, this is the garage, a little bit of storage here. This is the story. I don't believe that refrigerator's even plugged in. Okay. We are missing the thimble. Okay, there's supposed to be a thimble up there at the roof. Now over here, that flue pipe is supposed to be held together by itself. It's supposed to fit. It's just supposed to fit. You're not supposed to put tape on that. On the piping that's behind that right there, the piping, there should be escutcheon plates. Okay, see how this insulation, nice, it goes all the way down to the tank? That's good. But the same insulation should be on that temperature pressure relief valve. Right there. That should be insulated. Excuse me. A lot of home inspector. We got a little bit of negative pitch here, so I can call that out. But really what I'm calling about is the flexible drain line, the flexible connector that they use for a drain line. There's no code against that. A lot of home inspectors think there is. You might hear that someday, but there isn't. The problem is that the ends are threaded, and you shouldn't be able to cap that off. So the fact is the way that the connector is connected is the code violation. Okay. This is a Bradford White. It's 50 gallons, and it's a Model N, so that means today it's about 4 years old. Is it? What do you think? Yeah, about 4 years old. We have electronic ignition. We have a dip tube for the gas line. That's good. This is the safety pan down here. Unfortunately, the safety pan drains right out into the garage. All right. We'll back up a little bit here. Temperature pressure relief valve drain. It terminates right into the ground. Right into the ground. So we're not. It's less than 3 inches. This is 0. It's supposed to be between 6 and 3. All right. This is one of your attic accesses. We'll deal with that in a little bit. When they came in here, they installed all this pegboard. When they come in here and installed all this pegboard, it's nice. You can hang stuff on it, I guess. Do things. Be productive. But they extended the wall out away from the junction box that holds the receptacle. And then they got the wrong kind of screw right there. But when they did that, see that junction box this is supposed to fit inside the junction box. So when they did that, they compromised the fire blocking that the junction box was supposed to provide. So they're called goof rings, outlet box extenders, whatever. They're about $2 a piece. It's no big deal. Coming in here, this is the door between the garage and the living space. Alright, it's supposed to have a self-closer on it. It's supposed to close on its own accord, so if there's a fire in the garage, it doesn't just walk into the house. And we're not going to do a lot in the house here. But the breaker box in here, so I thought that I would. And coming along here, you've got a 3-prong electric clothes dryer. Okay. The hot and the cold are supposed to be labeled hot and cold, not cold and cold. That's for the clothes washer. Okay. Moving along here, not required, but all these receptacle outlets in this room, they're all GFCI protected. And since it's GFCI protected, it should have a little label on it that looks like that. Sometimes they're black, sometimes they're red, sometimes they're blue. 200 amp service. Okay, you can just feel the cold air coming through here. You just feel the cold air coming through here, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Okay, this is called bundling. And everybody has it. I do. I got some at home. I have some for sale. All right, these are supposed to be run in through two of these small ones. This larger one is for L1 and L2, which we have here. All right. Okay, this is your main neutral. It's supposed to have white tape wrapped around it. And then L1 and L2, they're supposed to have little rubber boots over them. The rubber boots weren't required when this house was built. Anyways, get a flashlight in this. Okay. And for the most part, this is all fine. One wire, one wire, one wire. Okay, we get down here. Where are you? Right there. And there. We got two neutrals, double lugged. These are white hots. Okay. These white hots, they should have black tape wrapped around them. They should have white tape, and these should have black tape. If you don't know that's hot, and you don't know that's the neutral, you don't belong in this panel. I get that. But that's what you're supposed to have. Those are the rules. Okay, 200 amps. You're not supposed to have combustible debris in the panel cabinet. And then this panel cabinet was set with screws. Okay, screws are fast, and screws are tight. I get that. Screws right there. But they're brittle, okay? They don't have the shear strength that nails have. And not having that shear strength, if this house is to experience a tornado or maybe an earthquake, for all I know. But if this house is to experience a tornado, then these screws would not hold the panel in place as well as if it had been installed with nails. You're not supposed to have more than 1/8 of an inch gap between the cabinet and the sheetrock. Of course, you have that, the debris. And then the bonding location, which is on the water heater, by the way, cold side in the garage. I did not point that out to you. But the bonding location should be labeled inside of here. Okay? And we're going on along, and again, this is my shot of the inside. I don't know if you can see this. When it ghosts around these faux muttons, that means the vacuum breaker is broken. The seal's been broken on these windows. The double pane metal frame. Okay? This is the door for the garage door opener. This is the button, the control button. Alright. It's not supposed to be in here. It's supposed to be in the garage. It's not supposed to be here. Somebody could have the door closed and be closing that garage door on people and stuff and not having any idea what's going on. And that's why. That's why. This top panel, that's the way it works. Shingles, bricks, panels. That's the bottom panel, first panel. This is the last panel, top panel. You can see right there where it's been creased. Okay? And then you got around over here, you got a little bit of the stress around that top rail. And then your emergency pull handle does not have pull rope does not have a handle on it. You do not have a protective prism around these luminaries. Okay, moving on along, you do have a door handle. That's nice. These are not supposed to be farther from the floor than 6 inches. This is an iPhone 6. I know it's old. I get that. I'm old too. So it's just a little higher than 6 inches. Alright. You got warning stickers, warning notices on the corners. That's good. You got barely. You're supposed to have a safety notice right there. I call it a squash sticker. So it says safety notice there. You're also supposed to have one. You're also supposed to have one on the inside next to the door opener button, which you don't. And the door opener button, which by the way, should not be closer. And I'm vertically challenged. It's not supposed to be closer to the ground, to the floor, to the door threshold, to the garage floor, where it belongs. It's not supposed to be closer to those areas than 5 feet. And so that one's too close. This is the lawn sprinkler system. I found it unplugged at the time of inspection. Okay, we've got instructions, which I'm going to follow in a little bit, but we do not have a care and use manual. And the zones, the stations, if you will, the zones have not been labeled. So those are things that are supposed to be happening. This gate, it swings out and it does have a spring. All right, this is going to the swimming pool area, by the way, so maybe I should preface that. But the spring's adjusted so that the gate just stays open. And the gate should always be self-closing. The gate should always be self-closing. The tree's too close again, right? This is swimming pool equipment. Okay, this is the timer. You can look inside this little window and see the gears turning. I know the timer's working. But you're supposed to have, see, there's part of it right there. You're supposed to have a dead front cover over here. If you reached in there and touched that, it just bites you, man. It'd shock you. You're supposed to have, that's supposed to have a dead front cover. This is a freeze sensor. Looks like it's pretty old. It's pretty old. I'm not getting any dates, any data on it. And maybe it works. I don't know. You have one. I know that you got one. You should. This is not mandatory. You should have a service light out here. So the, you know, if you had to work on the swim pool equipment in the middle of the night, come in here because something kicked on when it shouldn't have been on when people were playing, whatever. The swim pool equipment, you should have a service light. This heater has exceeded its economic life and it'd be prudent to budget for replacement. It's not level, okay? It doesn't have a gas sediment trap. The gas should have been turned off to it. I did not leave that on. All right, and then it's been decommissioned. The pipes have been coming out of it. Obviously it's old, obviously it didn't work, obviously it has issues, it should be replaced. Otherwise, you just got a hole in the swimming pool. You don't have a spa. You used to have a spa. And speaking of that, you're coming over here, well, then, you know, you're not even blowing bubbles. This is the aerator for the spa, so it doesn't even do that. Is it inline chlorinator? Looks like we have a relatively new DE filter. Is that, no, it's cartridge filter, excuse me. Cartridge filter, we got 15 PSI. I have to look that up. We got a new pump motor. Okay. Well, not new. Nothing's new in real estate. It's been used, it's on. But it's bonded electrically. That's good. Inline chlorinator, like I said, all these valves should have been labeled. So that you can come out here, any idiot can come out here and turn these valves and make things happen the way they want. I want to call your attention. We're only seeing one pump motor here, and I probably don't have to tell you because you know, my client's supposed to be watching this, and I shouldn't have to tell you that that cleaner is just not going to scoot around that pool very well. We got some cracks, vertical cracks through the brick and mortar over here on the garage side. All right. These are the disconnects for the air conditioning systems. Okay, we got a larger one and a smaller one. The larger one is properly fused. All right. This is a newer one, okay, and he's overfused. They did not replace the breaker when they replaced this like they should have. So, where are we at here? So he's overfused. This is a 5-ton. If I'm not coughing, I'm sneezing. What the? Anyway, it's a 5-ton. It's R12. You can still buy R12. They don't make it. They don't import it. You can buy substitutes that run between 10 and 35% is less efficient. This unit is 27 years old. It's probably, speaking of, it's probably a SEER 8 or a SEER 10. So it wasn't efficient in the first place. If you're going to put an alternative refrigerant, it's just time to replace this. If every technician in town that comes to service this thing, he's going to say, man, I can get it running. You hear about those alternative refrigerants? Whatever, but they're going to try and sell you a new one. They are, and they're not out to get you. It's time. Okay, insulation's loose on the refrigerant piping right there. These are called Schrader valve caps. Okay, these are old school, which was fine. This was fine when it was installed. See how that? All right, you should have anti-theft Schrader valves to keep kids from huffing. And this insulation no longer meets. When this was installed, when this guy was installed, oh, and these disconnects, they should be sealed to keep water from getting inside of them. But when this guy was installed, Mr. R410, Mr. 14 SEER, is a year too old. How old are you? It's 2 tons. 1 year old. When he was installed a year, the installer knew that this foam does not meet today's energy requirements. The installer knew that. The installer knew that these caps are no longer acceptable, that you should have the anti-theft Schrader valve caps. So I'm assuming he'd like to come back and make it right. I don't know. I don't run this business. But we have high soil. This is what was called the cat room. the cat room. The utility